The villains in today's movie deserve congratulations for being outstanding in their field. Welcome to Sick Flicks, where I take a deep dive into the cinematic sewer to help you embrace your inner gore geek. I'm Mike Bracken, aka the Horror Geek, and today we're tackling William Wesley's video store staple, Scarecrows. Filmed in 1985, but not released until 1988, Scarecrows has developed a well-earned cult classic reputation over the years. The story of well-armed thieves taking on supernatural scarecrows was an interesting departure from the traditional slasher films of the era. At just 30 years old, director Wesley was the oldest guy on the crew, which makes it all the more impressive that Scarecrows is such a beautifully shot chiller. Beyond that, it has loads of atmosphere and some pretty good kills. But are those kills gruesome enough to earn Scarecrows a 5 barf bag rating? Let's get to the gore and find out. Oh, and before we get started, today's video is brought to you by patrons Sassy Pants Gregorich, Henry DiCarlo, and Andy Be Damned. If you'd like to help sponsor some videos, sign up for my Patreon. You'll find a link in the pinned comment and description below. And now, let's get bloody. We fade in on this creepy looking scarecrow. I was gonna make a if I only had a brain joke here, but this thing is scary and would probably kick my ass. If you guessed he was gonna open his eyes for a jump scare, that's a great guess, but you're wrong. I really admire this film's restraint and not going for the obvious. Meanwhile, over in another movie, we're filming in our Splinter Cell night vision goggles. Fancy. And we're getting some exposition from the K-Plot news desk.
Earlier this evening, a heavily armed commando unit held up the payroll office at the base and fled with $3.5 million.
And they've taken the pilot of this plane and his daughter hostage. Maybe don't point a gun right at the head of the only guy who can fly this thing. Back in the rear with the gear, this dude's playing some harmonica. You know what they say about harmonica players. Half the time they suck, the other half they blow. Meanwhile, this guy's setting some kind of clock timer. Guess it's true, time really does fly. At any rate, everything's coming up Millhouse until Clock Guy decides he's gonna jump out of the plane with the loot.
Hey, taking the money!
You could say he's really dropping some cash here. The good news is this skydiving is less dangerous because they're doing it under the cover of Blue Filter mid-afternoon.
Grenade! Fucking throw it in there! I'll kill him! Where is it?
So, I want to point out that there's a grenade rolling around on the plane, which they toss out the hatch. Check out this special effect. Although really, special might be overselling it. Back on the ground, Budget Kim Coates is just hanging around. Literally. He gets down and starts heading out when he wanders right into this jump scare. Hi there. And for some reason, he's basically narrating everything for us.
I'll be damned. The graveyard.
Yeah, thanks. We could tell it was a graveyard because we have eyes. Then he heads off for this house. Wait, is this the house from the Mutilator? They're all gonna die. Anyway, at least I think he heads for the house. I can't be sure because he didn't narrate it for me. I don't know, I'm not sold on the green. This place might need a paint job. Man, I don't want to be a jerk, but this is the dullest VR game ever. Does this thing play Beat Saber? Back above, the rest of the team is coming after Bert. They dive out in safer conditions under the cover of After Effects night vision.
Now it's personal.
Bert, meanwhile, is now apparently switched over to Resident Evil 7 VR mode. Watch out for the molded. I wonder if he really needs night vision goggles here. This place is pretty bright. He continues to explore the house. I know this because he narrates it for me. I'm walking down a hallway. Now I'm opening a door. I'm thinking about steak. Now I'm looking at this picture. And in the next scene, it's time for symbolism. You know how they kept him in place for this shot? Velcro. When William Wesley conceived the movie, he tried to think of a scarecrow's natural enemy and came up with crows. There are little nods to this littered throughout Scarecrows. The thieves fly in, they wear black, and so on. Meanwhile, these two thieves are basically LARPing a Call of Duty round. I'm totally gonna 360 no-scope Bert when we find him. Jack, meanwhile, is gonna do a cool commando move to get over the fence, but then this happens. I meant to do that. Jack and Curry might be playing Call of Duty, but Bert here is clearly playing Fortnite, and he just found a loot box. He heads off, and his ex-partners continue to chirp at him on the radio.
You know, Bert, we were kind of hoping you were coming down that road to give us back our money and straighten things out, but you let us down again.
This is a solid strategy if their plan is to talk him to death, I guess. So, a lot of this dialogue was improvised after the fact. Wesley realized the film had long stretches where nothing much was said and added additional lines after filming to make the film less silent. It sorta worked. Anyway, Bert's truck breaks down. Stop, you're gonna flood it.
The fucking thing's flooded.
I told you. Oh, here's your problem. Seems like you have no engine. I hate when that happens. Anyway, the truck is done, so he's dragging his loot box like this is Capture the Flag. And of course, we're getting a voiceover.
3.5 million's a lot of bread for one guy.
It ain't right to be so greedy.
Maybe it's not a great idea to broadcast exactly what you're doing to the guy you're hunting.
Stand still, Bert. Just 1 second, it'll all be over.
Changing to another channel is probably a good idea. And why does it sound like the Scarecrows are talking to him?
He's coming toward us. Keep coming, Bert. You're heading right for me.
Oh, because they are.
I'm on your left.
Pretty lousy shooting.
Bert's aim always sucked.
Honestly, we could have just retitled this as Voiceover, the movie. Bert's pretty rattled and runs right into the tree. It's a pretty tremendous scene. Luckily for him, it's all bark and no bite. That's the least of his worries because he's surrounded by these Scarecrows, who may be stalking him. Stalking him. It's amazing you get this level of comedy for $0 every week. Then this one stabs him right in the gut. It's like the Strawshank Redemption out here. After the kill, we watch as the farm slowly comes to life. It's oddly creepy and probably bad news for the rest of the characters. Back in our other movie, the plane's coming in for a rough landing. I picked a bad day to stop sniffing glue. Turns out the landing wasn't as rough as we thought, since it's still just blue filter midnight.
Come on, let's go.
Outside, Jack and Curry wander back to the house.
This is some creepy shit, man.
What? This is creepy shit? A well-lit house? Not the field of freaky-looking scarecrows? Are you sure? They're gonna have to check the place out, step by step. You can tell the Scarecrows live here because they've got a dream catcher made of burnt candy corn right on the porch. They're sneaking around inside like this is a game of Fear 3, and wait, if the lights were on outside, why is it pitch black in here? Also, is it me or is Curry basically what the 80s would look like if it were a person? All he's missing is a members-only jacket and he could be the bad guy in an action movie. Do you kids even remember members-only jackets? Christ, I'm old. He's skulking around like this is a stealth mission, but there's something on the roof. Santa? Is that you? Well, it is a jolly fat guy, but unfortunately it's just Jack. And hey, don't look now, but their twosome is about to become a threesome.
Hell yeah.
No, not like that, you pervs. I mean, Corbin has finally shown up.
It's Rambo.
Fun fact, Corbin was played by Ted Vernon, who basically bought his way into the role by contributing $150,000 to the production. He and Wesley had conflicts because Vernon, who also owns the dog on the plane, thought he should have more lines. Don't look now, but it's getting crowded over here at Mutilator Mansion. These ladies are ruining the whole sausage party vibe we had going on. Meanwhile, we get this golden line of dialogue.
Jack's still up on the roof.
What's that? Did you say Uncle Jack stuck on the roof? If your Uncle Jack was stuck on the roof, would you help your Uncle Jack off? 12-year-old me is giddy that I just got to say that in front of thousands of people. It's just the kind of highbrow comedy you can expect on this channel. Before we can get Jack off, he zooms in on this jump scare. But hey, at least me and the movie are on the same page now.
Come on, we're wasting time.
They decide that maybe going after Bert would be a better idea, go figure, and then find this rundown scarecrow in the road. You could call him Crowdkill.
I think this place is possessed by demonic demons.
The dialogue in this movie really is something. Demonic demons. You know, as opposed to the angelic demons. Back inside, Roxanne is busy fixing her face. That way, the mortician will have less to do with her corpse. She decides to share with Kelly. You want to look your best for the coroner? While that's going on, the pilot is armed and looking to mount a rescue mission to save his daughter. I'll give him this, he's better at climbing the fence than Jack. Too bad for him, the Scarecrows are doing the ventriloquist thing again.
Where are you, Daddy?
Curry and the fellas think they found Bert, and they execute him with extreme prejudice. Except it's just another scarecrow. Talk about grasping at straws. Back at the house, Roxanne's rolling the bones.
My luck.
I'm sure that's not foreshadowing, right? Out in the woods, Curry and crew find Bert's parachute rig. Jack climbs up to open it, and it's like a Slayer song up in here. I was gonna call this a bloodbath, but really it's more of a blood shower. Then things get weird. Bert shows up at the house.
Curry,
What the hell is it?
he's here.
What?
Bert's at the house.
Didn't he get stabbed earlier? Doesn't matter. Corbin's playing a little sweet chin music on his face. Eventually, Jack shows up with some corn. Want some? It's pretty amazing. I've always heard raw corn was hard to chew, and there seems to be at least a kernel of truth to that. At any rate, I sure hope this doesn't make him constipated. I'm glad he made it back in one piece, though. It was pretty eerie out there. Oh my god, this really is the stupidest show on YouTube.
He's a dead end.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard for him to talk after you beat him to death. Inside, Curry finds out where Bert's been hiding the money. Dude probably should have just bought a wallet. Curry tries to pick his abdomen, but Bert gives him a taste of his pimp hand. Man, he's doling out pimp hands like it's the first of the month. Curry has a helping of finger food, but clearly he didn't care for the taste. Things are looking bad for Corbin, but Roxanne goes all Tony Montana on Bert. Say hello to my little friend. Man, my Tony Montana sucks. Bert's got more lead in him than old house paint, but he's still alive. At least until Corbin goes all Connor McLeod on him. There can be only one. Also, guessing they'll never get him to talk now. In all the excitement, Kelly's taken off. She's running through the jungle and finds her dad has been crucified. I've never understood people who get offended by crucifixion jokes. They always seem so cross. I mean, what's their hang-up anyway? Back at the house, the team has recovered some of their blood money. Literally. Kelly makes it back to the house and gives Roxanne a taste of her pimp hand.
You bitch! God damn you!
There must have been a special on pimp hands this week. And to prove my point, Jack walks right into his very own pimp hand from this Scarecrow. He's not done, though. He's like, I'm gonna need you to lend me a hand, and then stabs him in the face. And see, I wasn't kidding about him needing a hand. He's sewing it right onto his wrist. Back at the house, Curry's losing his marbles.
Well, you tell me, why is it that those MPs just kept firing at us and they kept missing?
Corbin's like, are you high? Because you sound like you're high. But he does have a sort of interesting theory.
Maybe we're dead.
Then he kicks everyone out because he thinks Jack is coming back.
Now, Jack is on his way back to the house, and I'm not leaving here without him.
You know what they say, bros before scarecrows. Roxanne, Kelly, and Corbin flee, but Roxanne gets sidetracked by the cash. It's like a police song if you think about it. Unfortunately, this doesn't end well for her. She clearly doesn't have a lot of time left. She rolled the dice here and lost. Kelly's getting stalked too, but luckily for her, Corbin is here to save the day. They flee back to the plane, once again hidden by the shadows of Blue Filter Afternoon.
Here's the plane!
Before they can get there, they have to get under this fence, but Corbin takes a blow to the leg. Too bad he didn't have the foresight to see this coming. Kelly leaves him behind. Day, night. Continuity is hard. She comes back for him, though, and blows the stuffing out of this Scarecrow. If you were worried we forgot about Curry, it's okay. He's still waiting for Jack. And while he's waiting, he takes this call. Oh, very funny with the heavy breathing, Jack. I'm so turned on. He checks the fridge.
Well, who is it?
I've heard of keeping heads of lettuce in the icebox, but this seems ridiculous. And Jack's back. And why is he wearing the goggles? Can't undead scarecrows see at night? And why does he look like a rejected Cenobite design from one of the later unwatchable Hellraiser sequels? Oh look everyone, it's VR Cenobite. Dude probably has a Twitch channel. Curry runs out and Jack's all like, nice to see you again. And the farm shuts down. Does this mean Kelly and Corbin are gonna live? Apparently, because they're taking off. Oh, look, Dog really is her co-pilot. But hold on, I feel a stinger ending coming. And there it is. Dad's on the plane and finishes off Corbin for not wearing his seatbelt while the cabin light was on. He's about to finish Kelly too, but Corbin's like Jason Voorhees and refuses to die. Well, at least until he blows himself and Dad up. It's a pretty explosive finale. I don't know, is that okay for the plane? And the dog's like, look, don't judge me. No one brought any puppy chow and I'm hungry. Then we get some credit exposition. Kelly made it home.
Afterwards, the SWAT team was able to move into the cockpit where they found the pilot's daughter strapped into her father's seat.
For a film made by a completely inexperienced director and crew with very little money, Scarecrows is surprisingly effective. The opening half is a little slow, but the film finds its way in the latter stages when the killing finally gets underway. The unrated version is creepy, well shot despite its over-reliance on blue filter night, and surprisingly gory. This one's a cult classic for a reason. It's a good movie. I'd be really interested in seeing a remake of it, although they'd ruin it with CGI. But enough about that. Can these Scarecrows slice and dice their way to a 5 barf bag rating? Let's go to the gore card. In terms of gross anatomy, Scarecrows delivers. We've got a decapitation, several eviscerations, multiple stabbings, severed appendages, and the cool mutated Jack creature. Special effects artist Norman Cabrera went on to a big Hollywood career, and it's easy to see why. The practical effects work in this film is quite good. How good? Good enough to earn Scarecrows a very respectable 3 barf bag rating. This flick is a lot sicker than you'd expect. Want to see another splattery 80s cult film about people trapped in the woods? Then be sure to check out my review of The Evil Dead. You'll find a link here on the screen after my outtakes. I'll meet you over there. Until next time, I'm Mike Bracken, aka The Horror Geek, bringing you all the splatter that matters. The beauty of YouTube is you can watch these videos and think I nailed it in one take, until I show you these clips where you see I'm an idiot. The villains in today's movie deserve Let's try that again. The villains in today's movie deserve God damn it. Filmed in 1985, but not released until... Here we go. We fade in on this creepy-looking Scarecrow. I was gonna make an if... Man, I cannot say that. Do you kids even remember? Blah. Way to screw up your own jokes. Too bad for him, the Scarecrows are doing the ventriloquist thing again. Ooh, yeah. Curry and the fellas think they found Bert, and they execute him with extreme prejudice. Jesus. Curry and the fellas think they found Bert, and they execute him with extreme prejudice. Why can't I say prejudice? This is so frustrating today, I don't even have anything funny to say. For a film made by a completely inexperienced director and crew with very little money, Scarecrows is a surprisingly... say that fast. Please let me catch up, teleprompter. They flee back to the plane again. Fuck. It's amazing that in school I was considered a very good reader. Special effects artist Norman Cabrera went on to a big Hollywood career, and it's easy to see why. The practical... Oh yeah, another fantastic recording session. Oh, that went terrible.